This isn't my first manga, so I know what to expect when I see raindrops. Someone's dead, and it's about to be really sad. But what threw me for a loop was seeing Panda there, not needing to be saved by anyone. And that hand, that bandaged hand, I know who that belongs to. I guess it's time to confront the truth. Let's get this over with. Oh, you mother...
Go crazy, go crazy, go crazy, no crazy, no crazy, no crazy,
Good morning. My name is Weekly Shonen, and another week, another road to Laugh Tale. We can cover that really quickly at the end because there's a lot to read through, as always, with these things, but not a lot to really cover from a review standpoint. So if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I just want to jump right into Jujutsu Kaisen 190, where, oh man, roller coaster of emotions. Even until the very, very end. Like I told you, I'm gonna keep saying it. Akutami's masterclass writer. He's gonna teach us how to write, how to write characters in the middle of a fight. And although we, haven't gotten too much from Hajime, it seems like we're gonna get more now. I'll get into that in just a bit, but what I mean is, kept us on our toes, even with last chapter that ended with a cliffhanger, goes on break, and we're like, what the hell, what was the outcome? Even the start of this chapter is like, you get the rain, rain means sad, but really it's not rain, it's a fake out, because it's the explosion from the inside of the water. You got Panda looking for Hakari, and the confirmation that Panda technically didn't need Hakari to get away, right? He just needed him to stall while he regenerated. So you got Panda there searching for Hakari. It seems like, oh, this is it, we're done. Bullshit. Hajime comes up, the victor, and then the very next page is Hajime getting punched. And in true All Might fashion, we have Hakari ending the battle with a smile on his face, which I thought was like icing on the cake for everything. It's just like, he's cheeky, Gege is cheeky, so it's like, okay, now it's kind of like he's speaking to us through it. Like, did you really think I was gonna kill this guy? Like, that's great. I like it a lot. In terms of how the fight ended on the technical side, for these two to be able to be committing these real-time high IQ plays is astonishing to me. But I appreciated it because we got an explanation. I would not have been able to understand this whole binding vow thing if not for them literally pointing it out and being like, no, that's how Hakari survived. So props to Akutami for not making us, have to speculate on how this man could survive a point-blank explosion from, an S-class, or I guess a special grade curse user or whatever. Okay, so before I mark this W with an asterisk, even though Hakari already did that one time only, ever, of all time, that's a wild precedence to set for what a curse technique is gonna be. So it's so wild, in fact, that I'm starting to think Hajime might actually have a chance against Sukuna. Or, if we're going in the route of, Royal Rumble, everyone versus Sukuna is what this is going to end up being, then Hajime's curse technique might be, the thing that overthrows, right? The tips the scale in this battle. We have another hint in the special property in Cursed Energy. So more and more likely that it's just an elemental thing, but my only question is it something that you're born with, or, can you choose the element when you begin to access it? So Panda just has to roll with the dude who killed both of his siblings. Cool. Hajime's reaction to the whole Kohai thing is pretty damn great because it just sets up this eventual interaction between him and Sukuna, or him and Yuji, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm all for this little group that we have going on here because it's like, yeah, Yuji's gonna come out solo, right? Like, he's not gonna have Hiromi because he's somewhere else. Megumi is gonna bring to the table an angel, while Yuta and Hakari are both gonna be like, yeah, I didn't kill any of the people who I went to go kill. I actually just brought them with me because I thought it'd be a better idea. And people are just gonna be like, what? Okay, like all of this, can't wait till everyone converges in the same colony just to see what the hell is happening. So with Rule 10 being added here, we can really pinpoint what time Hakari's fight took place, or when he can reconvene with Charlie here. And I'm gonna put that around 12:30 because he starts his fight with Charlie at around 12:11, gets his jackpot. So that's about a 4-minute thing. Then he gets 2 more jackpots with his fight with Hajime. So it's about 12 minutes. I'm going to say it took him a few minutes just to walk back to Charlie. So it's around 12:30, I'm going to say, because, that's also, kind of links up with how much time it would take for Yuji and Megumi to kind of like finish off their fights, and also, for Yuji to sit down with Hiromi and kind of talk it out after their fight. So, yeah, I don't know what it really means yet, right? Maybe we're going to get a timestamp in the future that is like, the deadline of like, when the culling game ends or something like that. Or, we still have a few days left for the culling game, but like at what time something crazy is supposed to happen. Maybe it has to do with the creature that we see at the very end of the chapter, right? Like, hey, huge thing is scheduled to be, in X colony at X time. So I'm going to assume maybe something like that to look forward to in the future, but, just keep it noted for now. Shout out to Charlie for having his first quotable of the manga. I relate to that strongly. But more importantly, shout out to Hakari for being quite unorthodox with his way to motivate Charlie here. It's just like, what are you worrying about? Like, pretend that you're already dead and just spend the rest of your time drawing manga, because that's what you really need to do. You're not even published yet. Like, I love this little reaction. He's just showing, what's it called? Kirara kind of like, said when we first met Hakari, which was like, he's at his best, or he's most fired up when he's helping others, when he was teaching students at the academy. So you're seeing that now, like he's getting his group together. He has his one kid that he can punch around. It's like, it's good for him. I have no clue how Nishimiya knows of the plan, because we haven't seen her this far. Maybe she did have a brief talk with Maki, even though Maki seemed to be doing her own thing. But hey, cool for her. Charlie's reaction just reminds me of Zenitsu with Nezuko. So I hope that doesn't get old quick. Aside from the confusing timestamp at the top left corner, is it not okay for me to count this as my favorite page of the chapter? She kind of reminds me of like Sasuke when he was bloodlusted for that whole arc. I love it. I need more of Monster Maki. And I also need more of this Noritoshi and Maki duo that we seem like we're going to be getting, because this looks fire. I'm totally with this. I'm assuming that we're also going to get more cursed users to help out, or, to just be thrown in the mix while fighting this cursed spirit. Because it might be like one of like the 3 or 5 great cursed spirits. I forget how many there are, but like it might be one of those things that, it's going to require more than just 2 special grade sorcerers to handle. And maybe the way that we pick up even more people, to like add to the band of troops here is, they have no choice. They can't fight each other. They have no choice but to band together to defeat this monster. And then afterwards, they maybe try to brawl out, but are just like, it's cool, whatever. We'll see. I really, again, am looking forward to bringing everyone together into one colony, because I just want to say that I'm going to assume that some of the curse users that we get together are probably going to have like past beef with each other, or like know of each other, and they're like, oh, I don't like this person, I can't work with them. So I'm hoping for something like that. I don't know. This thing looks massive, and I'm looking forward, especially after seeing Noritoshi and Maki's reactions to seeing how the fuck they're gonna deal with this thing, or like what they're gonna do to just manage the situation, how they're gonna stay alive, because Maki's her own monster now, and we have to see another showcase of that, right? But you're not gonna introduce another great big curse like this, and they react the way that they reacted, and they're just gonna be able to take care of it because Maki's strong now. So looking forward to seeing how this happens, how this rolls out, and I really do hope that we stay in this colony. Just for a bit, I don't really need to go back and forth between the colonies until it's time to like establish communication, or as Nishimiya kind of like brought back to my mind, hey, Maki's gonna be the one to basically travel between colonies for now, and for the time being. So I don't know, we'll see. I wonder if Yuta's also on the same page, if he's just holding out from using his rules yet, or from establishing his rules, or if he's gonna roll out a rule that kind of throws a wrench in, not the plan, but into Nishimiya's logic here. So where we're like, oh no, we can actually do this. I should have probably prepared, that little theory, but we'll see. That's pretty much it for the chapter though. So let's move on to One Piece 1053.3, the road to Slav Tale. Part 3. I have to set up now. The ability to turn imagination into reality is the perfect thing to embody a warrior of liberation. You know, it's someone who brings hope to people who need freedom. So the whole doesn't seem to be spoken about bit really does remind me of God Valley. And like for a split second, it kind of convinced me that maybe Rocks did have the Gomu Gomu no Mi. And I know Big Mom and other Rocks pirates should have like probably been like, well, reacting to that, like, hey, you have the same fruit as my master. But, you know, it's possible they just hold their cards closed. It's also possible that Oda just didn't really plan this out entirely. But I don't know, just the idea, it just made me think of So You Couldn't Be Joy Boy either, and like who that is a reference to. Based on what we got from Kaido's backstory, we don't really have reason to believe Kaido was trying to be Joy Boy. You know, even though he had King there telling him that he thinks he can do it, you know, it's like maybe Kaido was referring to Rocks there. But one thing I've learned from the Reverie 10 is to state whether or not you're willing to die on this hill. And I'm not willing to die on that hill. Just talking shit right now. It's cool to talk about the promise and, you know, Noah again. It's been a while. Just really feels like that Noah is just going to be this device to put 2 of each race, or I just guess put every single race onto one boat, have Luffy, you know, at the bow of the boat, you know, partying and whatnot, the same way that we see him, you know, in the Flower Capital now. Like, he's leading the party. That's exactly like what the people of Wano are saying, like, hey, he's the party leader type of thing. Like, not an RPG thing, but, you know, just he's the guy who we want to be in charge of, like, you know, the MC, the master of ceremonies. So I can see that now. It's just as we're entering the final saga, just everything becomes crystal clear, and just like you can really visualize like the ending. Zenitsu is confirmed to be male, something I did not think I would get in the Road to Laugh Tale. Again, that part of the week where I tell you somewhere in this list of lists of names and things is the key to all. I did not lie. The key to all. Now, I do like the serious version of the Shogun conversation that we got here. Well, I guess the sketch for the Shogun conversation that we have. But, you know, it just kind of makes me think that it being turned into a gag wasn't a good choice now that I know about this. Because I'm like, it could have been way better to get Yamato better acquainted with Momo, so he could just learn to trust her instead of yelling, I'm Odin, trust me, trust me. And then he finally rolled with her because, you know, he had no choice but to at that point. But, you know, I guess the final route makes sense because Momo's still a kid. But, again, I'd much rather he had his I'm Momonosuke moment, you know, announce his name to the world, and then keep putting on that tough act until he gets into a room with Yamato alone, where he can break down and then, you know, have the same dialogue where he's on her back and he's just like, you know, I'm weak and all this stuff. You know, then it works better to me because it's more believable and it's more enjoyable, right? Because everyone's bitching about, not everyone, but like, you know, there was a lot of like annoyance with Momo in the community for some time. Like, all he does is cry, and the understanding to that, like the counter to that is just like, well, he's a kid, obviously he's gonna cry, he's a child. But, you know, I think, you know, him trying to put on the tough guy act, breaking down, like going through these ups and downs instead of just like, you know, I feel like we got a watered down version of that when he got into dragon form, and, you know, he had his big moment of like, he's mature now, he's in dragon form, he's technically capable of doing these things, he can grab onto clouds, like he can make them happen. But, you know, the roller coaster that we got was just him doubting himself in that form, and that felt way more annoying than anything else, I think. But, you know, getting the pep talks from Yamato, I think also just would have hit harder if we got a more serious conversation. And also just getting this idea now of Yamato really not liking the previous Shogun, like thinking that he deserved to die, stuff like that. Like, this would have been great to get if, you know, Yamato started out really like on Kaido's side, and then the execution happens, and then we get some doubt there. And then we get some serious doubt when she picks up the book, the journal. And then she's converted when the samurai show her, you know, how nice they are and stuff. Because, yeah, we got some of that. This is still weird. We got some of that, you know, when she meets the samurai and she's just like, oh, of course they're going to kill me. But it's not like she's looking at them with any type of prejudice of like, yeah, of course they'll kill me. They're Kozuki. They suck. You know, they should all be exterminated. She's just like, oh yeah, they're trying to kill me because, you know, I'm the son of, you know, Kaido. So, you know, certain moments I feel like would have hit harder if we had gone this route or these routes. Speaking of the daimyo though, or I guess referencing the daimyo, makes me realize, is Yamato ever going to acknowledge the resemblance between one of those daimyo and Zoro? Or, you know, the fact that this guy, Zoro, looks exactly like one of the 3 guys who saved her from starvation. So it's really awkward if that never happens. And the last thing I want to say is that this is a terrible map, but that's pretty much it for me. My name is Weekly Shonen. I hope you all have a great week. You know, go outside, enjoy the sun. If you're not living anywhere where there is sun, I'm sorry to say, you can still go outside and enjoy the daylight. If you live in a permanent night location, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, but you know, that's it. I don't know how to sign off. I still don't know how to sign off, but you know, you be safe, and yeah, bye.